covering the Jenkins also and the grid also, and many more things that that you can just have a look at it at the documentation. Okay, then will I get access to the videos? Yes, you will get the access to the videos. Okay, then do you record current sessions? Yes, I am recording the current sessions, and after the class everybody will get the link to this recorded session, and like you will get the sessions, you will get the recorded session for all the classes that we will be covering up in our course. This entire session, all the recorded classes, everybody will get it. Okay, so for the first 3 trial classes we'll be sharing with you the YouTube link, we'll be uploading the classes on the YouTube, and then after that like from the 4th day onward we will be keeping all the recorded videos in a batch ID. So I'll give you the batch ID. From that batch ID you can just have a look at all the recorded sessions. Okay, and how you like go with the batch ID, well, I'll tell you that also. Okay, okay, then the next question is C# required. Now the very important question is, C# required if I don't know programming? Well, the answer to this question is yes. You must have some basic knowledge of C#. Like if you don't know C# as well, then also it will go. Like I would just recommend that, I would just prefer that if you have the basic concepts, if you have the knowledge of the basic concepts of programming, like what is a function, what is loop, how do you declare a variable, how do you declare the if-else statement, if you know these topics, then it would perfectly go fine with C# as well, because in C# what would differ is just the syntax, how you declare the variable. Now not what is a variable. What is a variable is same for all the programming language. What is a loop, what is a for loop is same for all the programming language. But how do you declare the loop in different languages, that only differ in all the programming languages. Okay, so if like don't worry if you don't know C#, like what is C#, how C# is used, that I'll tell you. But if you know the, like you must know the concepts of, you must have the knowledge of the concepts of programming. Okay, and if not, then you can just have a look at the starting videos, which are there on the website. On that we have explained the basics of the programming language, what are classes, the objects, how do you declare them, and then in our course as well, on the first 3 days we'll be covering up the basics only. So then also we can just cover these topics, the basic topics that is required in our class, in our entire session. That topics we will be taking up in this course. Okay, then I need help in my project, will you help me? Yes, we will surely help you out in your project. We have a team over here. Okay, so you can just mail us, the Skype ID is this. Okay, QTP Selenium 1, or else you can post your queries in the forum as well. You can post that you need a help in your project, so we'll revert you back over there. Okay, or else you can mail us as well. Then what all do you cover? We have seen what all we cover in our course. This is the course content. Okay, then what is the duration, what will be the duration of this class, of this entire session? It would be around 25 to 30 hours. Okay, that is, it would take around 1 month, 1 or 1.5 months, excluding the videos, the holidays. Okay, and it's not like that it would that it is necessary that it would take 25 to 30 hours only. It can extend as well, or it can be like we can cover the topics in lesser time as well. It's only up to you how fast you grab them. Okay, so we'll be covering, so like this is the entire checklist, and how much time it will take, that will be preferable. Okay, then could you also provide some kind of a live project? Then, well, live projects is these frameworks only. Okay, the frameworks that I told you, the page object model, the data driven framework, the hybrid framework, these live projects are the frameworks only, and we have covered these projects, these frameworks on the website as well, or else if you need help then you can ask us. We are available 24/7. Okay, So these are all the questions. Anything else anybody wants to ask regarding the course content or anything else before we actually start with our class? Up till now, anybody wants to ask anything? Yes, you can either ask your questions in the chat or you can just unmute your mic and then ask me. Okay, that's good. Anybody else? Okay. Okay. And Rohan? Rohan, can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you now. Yes. Do you need to ask something? Yes. We will be covering the N unit, as you can see. Yes, page object model also. Like as I told you in the class, we will take only one framework, either a page object or a data driven or a hybrid framework. Okay. And then like we will be making use of N unit only in our frameworks, in all our frameworks. And how do you read the data from the Excel file, that also we will be taking up in the class. Okay, fine. So okay, so now let's go with the class. Now what is the introduction part? Okay, the course FAQs. Now let's start with the brief history of Selenium. Okay, how, like what, from where did Selenium evolve and where it is going right now. Okay, now Selenium, it has three components. There are three components of Selenium. That is, we have Selenium RC, then we have Selenium IDE, and then there is one component known as the grid. So these are the three components that come up with Selenium. Now what are these three components? Okay, the first component is IDE. Now IDE, it is not a very useful tool. Primarily it is a record and run tool. Now what do you mean by record and run tool? Record and run feature is there on every automation tool, but record and run feature is not successful these days because websites these days are dynamically changing. If you record a website today, for example, say you take the example of the CNN.com or any news website or any sports website, any website, Times India, timesofIndia.com, or any website that you take, that wouldn't run tomorrow. Like if you take the example of any website, that wouldn't run tomorrow because you have recorded the components of a website which are constantly changing every day. The complete CNN website changes every day because the news changes, right? So this is what is the record and run feature, and record and run feature is there on every automation tool. So IDE is a record and a run tool. And secondly, IDE, it only works on the Mozilla browser. It does not support any other browser, that is the Chrome or IE or Safari. No. It only supports the Firefox browser. Okay. Moreover, you cannot generate reports in IDE. Reports are not generated with the help of IDE. Neither the XSLT reports nor the extent reports. We have two kinds of reports, that is the extent reports and the XSLT reports. So we'll be discussing, we'll be taking up both the reports in our session as well, and I'll show you what is an extent report, like how it looks like, and the example of the XSLT report as well. Okay, so Fine. So this is what is IDE, and IDE, it can only be used for very small scale application like a website of say 1 to 2 pages. If you want to test, okay, but if you have a large scale project, then don't waste time learning IDE and implementing with it. It is only used for the small scale applications only. Okay, fine. Then comes the RC. Now what is RC? Now RC is not used much these days. Moreover, like RC, it supports all the browsers. It supports all the browsers, that is Mozilla, Chrome, IE, every browser. It supports all the browsers. Okay, moreover, you can generate reports as well in RC. Okay, and in order to learn RC, you must have a knowledge of the programming language. You must have a knowledge of the programming language. Any language you can learn, that is either C# or Java or Python, Perl, PHP, any language, but you must have a knowledge of these programming languages in order to learn RC. Okay. Yes, Vijaya, do you want to ask something? Yes, do you want to ask something, Vijaya? No, like I am explaining that only. What is IDE, what is RC? I didn't get you. As I told you, IDE is a record and run tool. It supports only Firefox browser. It is integrated development environment, and that is remote control. Okay, yeah. So like I'm not focusing much on these topics because these are not used. Okay, that is why I'm just explaining you what these topics are, what these components are. I'm not going into much detail because these are not used these days. Alright, that is why I'm not focusing much on these topics. Fine. Okay, so I was explaining you RC. Like as I told you, RC, it supports all the browsers, then reports are generated with RC, and then you must have the knowledge of the programming language in order to learn RC. But RC had its own limitation. That is, now why we have switched from RC, it is because of its limitation. That is, there used to be a separate server for RC, which has to be started by the user. Okay, so like sometimes the server never used to start up, or it never used to shut down. There were some problems with the server, because of which we have switched from RC. We are not using RC these days, okay, because of its limitation. All right, and then okay, so in order to overcome this limitation of RC, another component came up in the market, that is WebDriver 2, and now these days WebDriver 3 has come up in the market. Now what is WebDriver? WebDriver, it functions similarly as RC, that is, it supports all browsers. It can generate reports as well. Okay, and then for WebDriver also you must have the knowledge of the programming language. Okay, so all the functionalities of RC are covered in WebDriver, and plus the additional properties also we have in the WebDriver that we will be actually taking up in our course. Okay, so in our course, in our syllabus, we will be working with the WebDriver, which is currently in high demand in the market these days, Selenium WebDriver. Alright, and then I'll be taking up both the WebDrivers, WebDriver 2 and WebDriver 3, since WebDriver 3 is an unstable version. Okay, and we'll discuss both the versions of the WebDriver, how you write the code with WebDriver 3 and how you write the code in WebDriver 2. And as we go with our course we'll see that WebDriver 2 is more stable. Okay, so that will come up in the coming classes. Alright, so this is the WebDriver, and plus we have more properties in the WebDrivers as well that we will discuss as we go on with our course. Alright, and then there is one component, that is grid. So what do you mean by grid? Grid is used for the parallel execution of the test cases. That is, if you want to run your test cases parallelly at the same time, then in that case we use grid. So what is actually there in grid is, in the grid we have one hub, we have one central node that is known as the hub, and to that node multiple nodes are connected, and on these nodes we will be actually keeping our test cases, okay, that we want to run in parallel. So all the test cases will be kept on the nodes that you want to execute parallelly, and then these will be executed parallelly with the help of grid. Okay, alright, so we will see the configuration, how you configure the grid and all that we will take up in the class. So this is what is grid, that is, grid is used for the parallel execution of test cases. So how it helps us, why, so what is the advantage, what is the usage of the grid is, it saves your time. Right, it saves your time if you are running the test cases parallel. If you are running multiple test cases parallelly, then it saves your time. Alright, so this is what is grid. So this is grid 2. Okay, and then IDE is still the same, and then grid has been changed to grid 3. Grid 3, so which has the same functionalities of what is grid, plus it also includes the concept of the WebDriver. Alright, okay, so this is just the introduction to Selenium, the history, what are the components, the basic components of the Selenium. Alright, yes, anybody, anything? Any one of you wants to ask something? So in our session we will be focusing on what topics? We will be focusing on C#, we will be focusing on the WebDriver, then Jenkins, what is Jenkins, then a grid, we will be taking up the grid. Okay, and then I assume that everybody knows the basics of the programming, that is, what is a variable, how do you declare the variable in any language. It's not like that if you must know how you declare a variable in C# only. I'm not asking about C#, I just want to know, everybody knows the concepts of programming, the basics of programming. How do you declare the loops, like what is a loop, what is a function, what is the if-else statement, what is what is a variable, the basics of the programming, any programming language. Yes, everybody knows. Okay, yeah, good. Okay, fine. Okay, alright, so now let's start with C#. Now for the C#, in our entire session we will be writing our code in a software that is Visual Studio. Okay, so Visual Studio we will be taking up in order to write our code in the C# language, as like just like in Java. For Java you install Eclipse in your system. For C# we need to install Visual Studio on our system. Okay, fine. So for that, like how you install Visual Studio, you just go to visualstudio.com. You go to this website, then out here you go to this downloads link. Okay, and then you install the community version, Visual Studio community version. Okay, and the latest version is right now these days 2017 is being used, or you can install any of the Visual Studio version, it's not necessary, but currently 2017 is in the market. Okay, like the latest version is 2017 which is there. Alright, so you can just download the Visual Studio 2017 version. Since this version has come right now only, so you'll not get the proper setup file for this Visual Studio. You'll just get the exe file for it. Okay, so you can just download the community version of it. You just click on this download button and it will simply be downloaded. Okay, so you see it says the exe file of the Visual Studio community version will be downloaded. So I'll not download it since I already have in my system. You can simply download your Visual Studio from this website visualstudio.com. Alright, and has everybody installed Visual Studio? So like on the first day we'll not go into Visual Studio. I'll just show you the basics only, will not go into Visual Studio, but from tomorrow we will be going to the Visual Studios. So please install Visual Studio today, everybody. Okay, and you can download the Visual Studio from this website. Okay, so this is my Visual Studio. The first page, how it looks, is this Visual Studio. This is the first page of Visual Studio 2017. I have also 2017 in my system. Okay, so alright, now if you want to create a new project in Visual Studio, how do you create a new project in Visual Studio? That is, you go to this file menu and you have new project. Okay, or else on this start page as well, out here at the bottom you can see create new project. Over from here also you can directly create a new project. Okay, hold on. Oh yeah. Okay, so when you click on create new project, this dialog, this pop-up window, it comes up. It asks you which type of a project you want to create. Now with this Visual Studio you can create any type of a project. That is, if you want to create a blank application, a console application, a class library project, if you want to create the web application, ASP.NET web application, which is used to test the websites, the web applications. Okay, the class library, then the mobile application, any type of project that you want to create. Okay, so that project you can just create, and then in the like in our class we will be focusing on two types of project only, that is the console application and the class library framework. Okay, and moreover in your projects in the frameworks as well, like you will also be requiring these two types of projects only. These projects, these rest of the projects will not we do not use them much. Okay, that is just according to the name. You can just see that what type of project it is. If you want to create a mobile application, then we have the Azure mobile app, then similarly. Okay, so let's now create a console application. Okay, and say I create the application first day. Okay, hold on. Yeah, so okay, so this is your project, first day project that we have created right now. And in this project, as you can all see, under the solution explorer you will have all your files that you add, like the class files, anything that you had, this solution explorer will be containing all those things. Okay, and then as we all can see that with the console application, any console application you create, these four folders, these four files will come up. Now what are these files? Let's see that. So the first folder is the properties folder. Under that we have the assemblyinfo.cs class file. Okay, so this is the class file. As you can see, this is just containing your Visual Studio configuration, just the information about your assembly. Okay, so we don't have any concern to this class file. We don't use anything, we don't do with this class file. It's just the inbuilt class, that come up when you create the console application project. Okay, so we have nothing to do with this class file, so we'll not go into deep. Okay, and then we have the references folder. Okay, references folder, I'll keep it for the time being. We'll go with this folder as well. And then we have the app.config file. So in this config file we will be keeping the configuration details of our framework, of our project. So right now we have not added any configuration detail, so by default it says that your .NET version is 4.5. okay, right. So this is just the configuration of a blank project, since right now we haven't done anything. So as we go with our classes, as we go with, like, when we will be discussing the frameworks, we will be adding the information in this configuration file, and then you will come to know what all information you can store it in your configuration file, when this file will be useful. So that you will come to know in the coming classes. Okay, and then we have this class file, program.cs class file, which contains the main method inside it. Main method, everybody knows what is the importance of this main method, right? The execution of the program starts from the main method only. And rather, in all the programming languages, in Java as well, the execution of the program starts from main method only. So there goes the concept, there goes the usage of the main method. And program.cs, this is the by default class file which come up when you create a console application, which contains the main method inside it. Okay, and then what is a class, what is static, what is void? If you don't know, don't worry, we will discuss everything in our class. Okay, you can just see. Okay, fine. So right now let's say, suppose if I have to declare a variable out here in Visual Studio. So how do you declare a variable? Say if I have to declare an integer variable, then I say int a is equal to, say, 10. Okay, so if you want to declare an integer variable, you simply give the data type as int and the name of the variable. Okay, and then similarly, if you want to declare a string variable, then we have the data type as string, and you give the string name. All right, and then if you want to and then I assume that you know what is an if statement, what is a function, and what are loops, how do you declare the for loops, the while loops. Okay, or else. Okay, so you just know what are all these topics. The syntax I'll be taking up in my class. Okay, fine. And then say if you want to print anything in C#, if you want to print any statement in C#, then for that we write console.writeLine, and in the double quotes you give any text that you want to print. Okay, similar to system.out.println in Java, similar to that in C Sharp, we have console.writeLine to print anything on the console output window. Alright, say if I want to print this statement, this word. Okay, so how do you, so now what I'll do is I'll just execute my code. So how do you execute your code? Out here at this menu, you can see this start button, right? So when you click on this start button, your program will be executed. Okay, so you see the black screen came up and then it has vanished away as well. Now why? On that black screen we are supposed to get our output Selenium C# training, but that black screen has vanished away so fast. Now why that is so? It is because, now if I write one more statement, that is console.readKey, just see the difference. Okay, so right now I have added one more one more statement into my program, that is console.readKey, right? And then now I'll just execute it once again. Okay, so now you see that we have this console output window, this black screen, and it is still there in front of our screen. This dialog window has not vanished away. Now why this is because of this statement console.readKey. So console.readKey, what is the usage of this statement is it freezes your screen. It is helpful to read the output till the time you forcefully close this window. This window will be opened up. It will not be closed until you forcefully close it on your hand. So console.writeKey is used to read the output. Okay, it freezes your screen. Fine. So here you see that it has printed the statement Selenium C# training on the console output window. So till the time I close it, you can see your output window. So console.writeKey is used to read the output. Fine. And console.writeLine is used to print anything on the console window. So console.writeLine it is. Fine. And then the shortcut for it is you write CW and then you hit double tab key. You hit double tab key and then the console.writeLine, the shortcut for it is that. Alright, so this is how you print anything in C#, console.writeLine. Alright, and then okay, so now coming to this references folder. Now what is this references folder? Okay, now before explaining this, one more thing. Now as we all can see that this first day application, this project, console application project, it contains this class file program.cs class file by default class, which contains the main method. Now if you want to add more classes into your project, then how do you add? You right click on this project first day, then we have this option add, and then you click on new item, and then the dialog window comes up which asks you which type of an item you want to add in your project. If you want to add a new class, then you can simply add a new class. If you want to add an interface, then you can add the interface as well, the code file, data set, and you can just have a look at any type of an item that you want to add, JavaScript file, okay, anything, text file, style sheet, any file you want to add, you can just add in your project. Okay, and say if I want to, you can add, and then you can add any number of class files into your project. Okay, say if I want, say if I add one more class, so this is how, like this class1.cs class file, it has been added into your first day project. Alright, so this is how you add any number of items into your project. Now this references folder. Now what is this references folder? Now in the practical world, what developers do is that they put all the classes in a single file known as the DLL file. Now what is the DLL file? This references folder, it contains the DLL file. Under this references folder, as you all can see that these are all the DLL files. These are all the DLL files that are listed under the references folder. Okay, and C# is a collection of DLL file. C# is the collection of DLL file. There are many inbuilt classes in C# that we can use, and we will be actually using as well in our project. Okay, for example, let's take an example. Say I have this class program.cs class file with me, and say if I want to print the current date and time. So how do you print the current date and time? So for that I have a class datetime dot now. Okay, datetime dot now class, and then now if I execute my code, so now you see that it says it has printed the current date and time out here, that is 25th July 2017, and the time over here. So datetime dot now, this is an inbuilt class in C#. And from where it is coming up, from where this datetime.now class, this function is coming up, this is coming from the system class, from this system namespace. Now say suppose if I just comment this namespace, then you see that we have started getting errors in these classes, in these keywords, under these keywords, that is the console keyword as well as the date time. So what this signifies? It signifies that these date time and this console are present under this system namespace. So if I uncomment this, so now the errors has also gone. Alright, so this is what is so these are just the inbuilt classes. Datetime is an inbuilt class that we are just calling. We don't know what is written, what code the developers have written inside this datetime class. We just don't know that. We are just making use of the inbuilt classes in our program. And same goes with the Selenium as well. In the Selenium, when we will study the Selenium, there also you'll come to know, like there also we will be using the inbuilt classes of the Selenium, and we will be making use of those classes in our project. Alright, so this is what is the DLL file, and then this references folder, it is the collection of all the DLL files, and all the DLLs, the external DLL files. Tomorrow when we will study the framework, then we will be adding the extra DLL files as well. For the NUnit, for the Excel reading, we need to add the extra DLL file. So those DLL files we will be adding under the references folder. Alright, so this is what is the DLL file. Okay, fine. So we have done this. Okay, the basics of C#, then the concept of DLL file. Alright. Okay, then okay, now one more thing. When you compile your any type of a project in Visual Studio, either a console application or a class library project, or any type of a project that you compile in your Visual Studio, then you are creating the assembly. Now what is an assembly? An assembly is a file that contains the compiled code. Okay, and how do you compile your code? Actually is, you have this build menu over here, you click on this build, and then we have build solution. Okay, so it says that the build is succeeded. Okay, fine. So this is how you compile your code. Now when you compile your code, as I told you, you create an assembly. An assembly is a file that contains the compiled code. And then there are two types of assemblies. The first type is the executable and executable assembly. Executable, what do you mean by executable? Is executable files, that means all the programs that are compiled as executables, those programs you can execute. That is, what do I mean? Say if I go to the path of this project, okay, I go to bin debug, then out here you see that the exe file of the first day project has been created. This is your application file. Alright, say if I just close this Visual Studio project, and then if I want to execute my project, so if I run this first day project, so now you see that whatever you are performing in your project, that all output has come up just by executing your exe file of the project. So first type of an assembly is the executable files, those files that you can execute just by double clicking on the exe file of that project. Okay, fine. And then there is another type of a project as well, that is the class library project that I told you we will be taking up in the class. Okay, so class library project, we will not go into much detail as of now. When we will start with the framework, that time we'll be making use of the class library project. So I'll just show you what is a class library project and how it looks like. So if I create a class library project, okay, so this is your class library project, and this class library project, it contains 3 files in it. Which file is missing? That is the configuration file, app.config file, right? So app.config file by default it does not come up in the class library project. You can add it manually, like as I told you, class library, right click on them, add, and then new item. Okay, and then this class file, this class1.cs class file, as you all can see that this class library project, it does not contain the main method inside it. It does not contain the main method inside it, right? So there goes with the class library project that the second type of an assembly is the DLL assembly, which is not executable. That is, if I build the solution for it, and then if I go to the path of this project, bin debug, then you see that when you compile a class library project, then that time you get the DLL file. You get the DLL file which is not the executable. Like you can see as well, since it does not contain the main method, then how it will be executable? As we all know that the main method, the execution starts from the main method itself, right? So this is what is the class library project. Okay, and I'll just open my project, the console application that we were working on. Okay, so this is your console application project. Alright, so this is what is the concept of DLL file. Alright, now why am I focusing on this basic OOPS concepts, these programming concepts? Why am I focusing again and again on these programming concepts? It is because if you go to the official website of Selenium as well, that is seleniumhq.org website, the official website of Selenium, the very first line of the website says, what is Selenium? It says that Selenium automates browser. Well, Selenium is used for automating web applications. It is not used for desktop based application. Selenium is used for testing the web based applications only. Alright, okay, so this is what is Selenium. and then I go to the download section. Over here, as you can see that this for the C#, if you want to download the DLLs for the Selenium, then the current version of the WebDriver that is right now available on the C# on the Selenium website is 3.4.0. Okay, so you can simply download the Selenium DLLs by just clicking on this download link, and it will be downloaded. The zip file of the Selenium.NET 3.4.0 will be downloaded on your system. Okay, alright, so we'll go to this as well. So right now, if I go to this documentation, say if I go to the documentation of C#, okay, I go to the documentation. This is your documentation. Now, as I told you, I am focusing again and again on the OOPS concepts just because of this documentation. So if you carefully look into this documentation, then you will come to know what is the importance of the OOPS concepts. That is, if you are aware of what is a class, what is an interface, what are these topics, okay, right? So if you are aware of these topics, then you can easily understand this Selenium documentation. So that is why I say that you must have the knowledge of the basic programming concepts. And then, like, don't worry, I just want that you must have the knowledge, or else we will be discussing the interfaces as well, the classes also, the objects also in our class also. Okay, fine. So this is all for today.